Bit of a tough story now. Two homeless people recently froze to death in Changsha, capital of Hunan province. A reporter named Dai Peng from the Sanxiang metropolis was curious that the homeless would prefer to sleep in freezing conditions outside rather than seek help from the local rescue station. To find out more about the situation, Dai disguised himself as a homeless man and went to the local rescue center. Upon arriving, he claimed that he was both interrogated and beaten by staff members. He said the staff members pushed him to the ground and brutally assaulted him. The staff also prevented him from leaving until a worker called his father to confirm his identity. The newspaper published his story along with a photograph of an elderly homeless man, 51-year-old Li Guting. The photo shows Li was on the floor of the shelter with his hands and legs tightly bound. His shoes were also removed. The picture was taken by another reporter who arrived to take Dai home. The shelter responded to the incident by releasing footage online that shows a man being held to the ground by three workers, but not actually being physically beaten. Li Feng, director of the shelter's general office, said the workers had taken measures to control Dai, as they believed he may have had a weapon. However, Dai said he was only carrying a small digital voice recorder. He also said the elderly man was mentally disabled and police had handcuffed him in case he was violent. Huang Jimo, director of the Changsha homeless shelter, insisted that his workers had not violated any rules in treating homeless people. According to him, employees sometimes need to take self-defense measures because some homeless people can have psychological problems. So how do Chinese net users feel about this case? Well, to find out how this is being viewed in China's online community, let's check in with our researcher, Esther Deng. Okay, Esther, it seems that each side is sticking to their story about the situation. So who do net users support, the journalist or the shelter? And who do they think is telling the truth?
Well, opinions are divided on this, and there's no agreement achieved yet. Wang Dan on Sohu.com is furious about the shelter. Without this report, the public can hardly imagine violence would be conducted at this shelter. Isn't this horrible? I can't help questioning, with the principle of free will and warmth, how can Changsha Rescue Center degenerate into an assault place? And this poster, 神马就是神马 from Hubei, says, no wonder the homeless prefer cold and starving outdoor than going to the shelter. It is like hell. And Huang Weixin on voc.com.cn opposes the claim from the shelter that they just took a temporary restraint measure to the journalist. He says, this is not an excuse to normalize violence. No matter how hard the staff want to beautify their image, the so-called measure has already neglected a vagrant's dignity. There are also some net users standing on the side of the rescue center and saying the journalist is exaggerating the problem. Yan Ran on Weibo.com, who says he has watched the video, comments, I don't find any beating behavior from the video. Isn't mauling different from controlling? The journalist just makes the story up and is a claptrap. The newspaper is also unscrupulous. It distorts the fact to catch people's eyeballs. And this poster, Fly Li Ali, on the same side, is another supporter for the shelter. I consider the shelter as excusable. The journalist struggled and the workers pressed him down. Maybe they just thought he had a mental illness.
Okay, another question is, do net users feel that the journalist disguising his identity for a news investigation was justified? And what about the newspaper who's behind this plan?
Well, again, there's quite a bit of a discussion, but no agreement yet. This poster who advocates this action says, I want to pay my respect to this conscientious journalist. However, Yihu Baiying on QQ.com says, malicious interview will lead to social disorder and may cause social instability. And Lao Huoji A from Hunan also says, a news interview should take methods and morals into consideration. If the interview is connected with setting trap and finding fault with others deliberately, then the journalist has lost its conscience and professional ethics. And a poster from Shanghai has a similar opinion. The newspaper takes advantage of its status as a mouthpiece of public voice and disturbs the shelter's normal handling of the official business. It should feel embarrassed to keep on operating. And Jian Zitang from Tianjin has a different opinion. How can the reporter be wrong since he uncovers the truth for the public at the risk of his life? And this poster on 163.com also defends the journalist and the newspaper. To criticize the government is citizens' legal right. You can't deprive this right. And finally, 大秦帝国商鞅君 from Shanxi has this feeling. I support secret investigations aiming at uncover darkness and eliminate abuse, but I will curse whoever start a rumor or tell lies.
Well, it seems that one focus of the issue is whether Dai, the journalist, was actually attacked by the workers, and this is not confirmed yet. But if we put this aside for now, how do net users evaluate the way Changsha rescue centers treat homeless people generally? Does the center really do anything for the homeless?
Well, this time most net users feel the shelter's action is improper and it should conduct self-criticism. Yang Gensheng, a commentator, says rescue centers should not only give homeless people food and a bed, but also respect. See, the rescue station should not be a place where homeless people are reluctant to go. And 我要慕田 on 163.com has this to say. I guess the story behind this is the shelter receives the fund from the government, and the staff can take it into their personal pockets. Helping homeless people means decreasing their money, so they seek all kinds of ways to chase away vagrants. And this poster, Chen Kim Yao Biye on Weibo.com has a similar opinion. How can this kind of rescue center really help people? It just embezzles money which should be used to rescue the homeless. We should investigate where the money goes. And this poster from Heilongjiang adds, apart from financial reasons, the staff from the shelter lack service consciousness and don't have work ethic. And this poster, Han Han on bjnews.com.cn. As a service organization, how can a rescue shelter consider the vagrants as suspected offenders? Even if there may be men of violence hiding in the group, there should be a precise screening procedure conducted by professionals. Most of the people the shelter faces are the weak in need of help, not the lurking dangerous people. So the staff should show kindness to them instead of caution. Finally, let's wrap it up with a reflective comment from Quan Quan 小朋友. A rescue station represents the city's heart and mind. It is a city's basic quality to give the disadvantaged group a humanitarian concern and care, and also an advanced nature of modern civilization.
Thanks, Esther. And that was China Take researcher Esther Deng on the violent homeless shelter and the unlucky undercover reporter. Next on China Take, some of the top trending phrases on China's most popular search engines.